What's going on, my fellow basketball sickos? The T-Wolves went into Denver, locked them down defensively, and stole Game 1. And while they had some great offensive performances from Ant, Cat, and Naz Reid, this game was won on the defensive end of the floor where, for the first time in a long time, I have seen Jokic and the Nuggets get sped up and forced into taking shots that they did not want. So in this film study, we will take a look at how the T-Wolves imposed their will on this Nuggets offense. In this first clip, Jokic gets the ball in the post, and all the Wolves defenders are staying attached to their man because they know they have Cat and Gobert to deal with Jokic in the back line. And as Jokic works his way to the middle of the paint, Gobert starts to slide over and comes to help, and Cat is forcing him that direction. While this happens, Aaron Gordon tries to sneak behind Gobert and cuts to the other side, but Gobert helps, forces Jokic to spin back the other way, and still gets back to Gordon, and Jokic has to shoot a tough hook over great defense by Cat. Here, we can see that something clearly went wrong because neither Gobert nor Cat are guarding Jokic, so McDaniels is forced to pick him up. Jokic sees this and decides to attack him off the dribble, but Cat and Gobert, who are both guarding man in the corner, see this and both come directly to help, but McDaniels does a great job of not giving up on the battle and actually is able to strip the ball away from Jokic and force a turnover. Here we have the Nuggets in transition, and this is where they are extremely dangerous and tough to guard, but this is just a great defensive possession by the Timberwolves. As Porter Jr. brings it up, Gobert and Alexander Walker are communicating. Gobert is telling Naz Reid in the back to pick up Jokic, and he will pick up MPJ, and Alexander Walker is telling Gobert to make sure that he does pick up Michael Porter Jr., and this is exactly what happens, so everyone is matched, and the initial fast break is stopped. But instead of pulling it out and setting something up, MPJ tries to attack the Defensive Player of the Year and gets his layup easily blocked. On this play, Jokic does a great job of using Gobert's aggressiveness against him, and he spins off and cuts to the rim, and it looks like he is going to be wide open. But Cat is watching all this happen, and he is guarding Christian Braun, who is not the priority, so he perfectly slides to help and plays good vertical defense on the shot and forces an air ball that ultimately leads to a travel. Here, Michael Porter Jr. pump fakes and forces Cat to fly by him, and then he sees that they have a mismatch with Ant guarding Jokic, and he enters the ball to him. Seeing this, knowing Cat was behind him, they run a give and go, and, well, there's not really much to break down here because this is just Anthony Edwards doing Anthony Edwards things. He helps off Jokic, blocks the layup, which then leads to a wide-open Cat who contested the ball and flew out and is now wide open on a fast break, and he takes it and gets a monstrous dunk that got him going and led him to a good third quarter. Jokic has the ball at the top of the key. Cat reaches and gambles, so Jokic attacks this, but here stands Rudy Gobert, who is in heavy help because they are willing to let Aaron Gordon shoot threes. And as Jokic continues to attack, Cat stays on his right shoulder, making it difficult for him to spin that way and forcing him into the help with Gobert, who again does a perfect job of playing the ball and the cutter. Jokic then forces the spin to his right hand away from Gobert and shoots it too high because the threat of him blocking the shot was still there. In this clip, Jokic dribbles into a post-up, and Ant knows he has to go double because Naz Reid cannot handle him alone, so he does, which leads to a rotation from Alexander Walker and Kyle Anderson, but the most important was the Alexander Walker rotation because it made KCP put it on the floor, which makes him force it back into Jokic, who was not really posted up and ready, and Naz Reid is able to poke the ball loose from behind and force Jokic to have another turnover. Near the end of the third quarter, they enter it to Jokic, who is again being guarded by Naz Reid, so there needs to be a double. Monte Morris turns and runs like he is going to double, and MPJ relocates, but Morris never fully commits to the double and baits it, and he does a textbook job of playing both, and Jokic gives it up too quick, which leaves time for Morris to still get out and contest the shot and make this a harder shot for Michael Porter Jr. Now, it is fourth quarter time, where the Nuggets love to get their two-man game going with Jokic and Murray. But first, they try to bring Christian Braun up and force a switch where Murray can have the advantage on Mike Conley. So as the screen comes, McDaniels goes under to make sure that they don't give up a slip and to give Conley room to get back. Conley hedges long enough for McDaniels to get back in position, and they avoid having to switch. Then here comes the Jokic screen. McDaniels does a great job of going over the screen and does not even really get hit by the screen, so he is able to stay attached to Murray and then just plays great individual defense, making Murray give it up. And now it is late in the shot clock, and Naz Reid knows it, so he gets up on Jokic and forces a step-back three. Here, we have another example of that two-man game. This time, Murray gets McDaniels trapped behind him, so Naz Reid has to help, leaving Jokic wide open in the short roll. But when he catches it, well, guess who was waiting? None other than Rudy Gobert, who now is in a 2-on-1 situation that is usually either an easy floater or a lob for a dunk, but he plays both, baits Jokic into the lob, and gets back in time to knock it out of the air and force another turnover from Nikola Jokic. Again, we have the two-man action, and this time, Jokic sets a better screen, so McDaniels is trailing the play, and Cat has to come over and help while Jokic pops. The key part of this play is that McDaniels does not give up on the play and sprints back to Murray, which relieves Cat just in time for him to get a contest on Jokic and forcing an air ball, which is something you rarely see from him. Now moving on to the dagger of the game was this play right here where Aaron Gordon gets an offensive rebound, so the Wolves defense is already in scramble mode. Michael Porter Jr. knows this and relocates to an open spot, but Ant sprints to contest and makes MPJ put it on the floor, but it does not stop there. Conley rotates to get another contest that leads to an offensive foul that ultimately put the nail in the coffin for this game. So the Wolves really dictated this game by slowing down the Nuggets offense. Their strategy was clearly to take KCP and Aaron Gordon completely out of the game, which they did a good job of, and then to make Jokic, Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. make tough shots on a consistent basis. So their game plan and their effort really flustered Jokic and the Nuggets for the first time that I have seen in a long, long time, and this led them to be able to steal game one. But one thing I do know is that Denver will look at the film and they will make plenty of adjustments, and we could be in for a long, hard-fought series. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out some more of our content.